Hi everyone, my name's Louise and today I'm going to talk to you about something that I absolutely love. It's Mad Max. Oh my god. Have you seen this film? This is better than Lord of the Rings, Star Wars and Harry Potter combined. Yes, I said it. It's better. I get really excited just thinking about it. And one of the really cool things is that it's awesome in 3D. I hate 3D. Really. But this was amazing. This was another level of 3D. This is like good stuff. They even made these really cool effects with the subtitles. Yes, I'm in Sweden, so with subtitles. And they did like these really cool things where it's like you got Max here and Furiosa here, and then they put the subtitles in between them, like here somewhere. Pretty cool. I mean, you saw they moved the subtitles so you could actually see what they're saying. It's not like they just hid some of the subtitles behind Max. But they could do that, it's not like he talked a lot anyway. There are quite a lot of reasons why I love this film. If you haven't seen this, you should go do that now. I will wait. This is a video, you can just pause it, go watch it, and then come back. Because I'm going to spoil you a little bit. Just a bit. I mean, I don't know, is there a lot to spoil in this film? I'm just wondering if there really is, because I guess there is. Yeah, okay, well there's a big spoiler. Yeah, I'm not going to... Well, I'm going to spoil it, so go watch it. The story is about Max Rokatansky? Max, anyway, he's like this for like an hour of the film. Played by the oh so awesome Tom Hardy, who honestly, he's done so much and I've seen so little of him. I didn't even know he was Bane. But I mean, you could hear it on the voice, couldn't you? Anyway, Tom Hardy grunts a lot, doesn't say that much, got a few good lines, emphasis on the few, but which I just kind of find awesome because there's so much going on in his head. Like, there are all these flashbacks from, like, his daughter, or is it a boy, is it a girl, I don't know, his kid. Flashbacks of his kids and his family that he didn't manage to help survive. When you see him, he's got this long beard and okay, he looks like a trash heap from a kid's show. Like what Bob Marley would probably look like if he was still alive. I mean, like, I think dreadlocks are cool, but they only have one. They've got the one dreadlock. Max was one of those people before. Just in the beginning, this is like the first 5 minutes of the film, which are intense and so cool. They shave his hair, shave his head off. They shave his hair off. And his beard, which is like really long. He's a bit like the what's his name from The Hobbit, the brown wizard with the hair. Anyway, the hair. So yeah, and you see this little kid scrambling for his hair. I'm like, what do they do with the hair? And I have these ideas. I mean, we don't really see any animals, so I'm guessing like maybe they do it to make clothes. I think maybe they do it to polish their cars with, to filter water with, for pillows, you know. And maybe do carpets and stuff. We don't really use hair for that kind of stuff, don't we? We should, probably. Especially that massive hair. It might be quite valuable. I get that kid probably gets quite a lot of money for that. Yeah. Also wonder if, because I mean that's like a lot. He's got big massive hair, but all the other ones they shave their heads. Do they always shave their head, or would they be like wait until it's grown a certain length and then cut it? So they can use it for something, because I mean you can, like the little strands, you can't really use that, like if it's just like a millimeter or something, you can't really use that for anything, can you? Anyway, that's Max, haunted past, doesn't say much, he gets strapped onto a car, and and then it becomes a blood bag. because he's got good blood, whereas all the other ones are, I'm guessing they've all got cancer. That's why I got their half-lives, because they all got cancer, and you got Nux having these tumours, Larry and Barry. Hilarious. You see like this guy with a huge foot. It's also probably the most disgusting character I've ever seen in a film. So I'm guessing they've got their half-lives, they are got some sort of cancer or something, and then you've got Max and all these other people living a bit everywhere who are full lives, and they use his blood because he's also O negative, so he can just give to anyone. They pump it on blood to Nux, this half-life, who is amazing, and I love like the looks of all these people, and I can't wait for Halloween this year. So there's gonna be Furiosa for all the badass girls. Seriously, kudos if you cut your hair off for that. And then all the boys will be going as half-lives. Like, I can see groups of people with their shirt off, painted this white and like black around the eyes, and it's like, well, I noticed Nux has got like a little nose. He's got a black wee nose. It's adorable. All the slutty girls are just gonna go as one of the wives. Seriously, it's done. Just wrap yourself in a sheet or something, wrap it around, pour some water on yourself, roll around in some dirt, and you're ready to go. Perfect. I think all my parties from now on are going to be Mad Max themed. Yeah. Speaking of rolling around in dirt, Furiosa, played by Charles Theron. Anyway, the very hot goddess looking one. So apparently, the makeup department, just like the first test, I think like the first days or something, the makeup department sat there and like added dirt to her face and to her body. And after a while she's like, are we going to do this every morning? Because I think I kind of have better things to do. And they were like, well, you know, I mean, the other option is basically to go roll around in dirt. And she's like, cool, I'll do it. So she went out in the desert, got down, rolled around a bit, and then they just touched her up in the makeup. And I think that's amazing. It's a great technique, and I mean, it shows she really gets into the character that way, and I think that's wonderful. I just think her method might be a bit dangerous. Not especially in this film, but I mean, imagine if she's in a film where she's covered in blood. One of the things I really loved about this film is also the colours of it. It's basically all just two colours. There's the very golden orange, yellow of the desert during the day, and then there's the blue of the desert during the night. Pretty beautifully done. And it's funny because I'm quite sure they've done, I mean, I'm sure they've done this in a way that the French called nuit américaine. It means American night. It's just filled with prejudice. Basically, you shoot your night scenes during the day, and then you just put a blue filter on it. We've done that a few times in film school, and it's really hard shooting at night because you need the lights. I mean, it gets tough, and if you don't want to screw up your image, this is the way of doing it. They've done a beautiful job when you like doing this. I think it's also like one of these really cool moments where I get all geeky about it. It's like, so there's Max and Furiosa in the front seat, and you've got all the wives in the back, and the shot is entirely blue, but then the girls have this lantern in their lap. It emits this warm yellowy light, and it's such a cool scene. I mean, it's nothing really, just pretty. I mean, it gives, I mean, you can definitely see everybody without this light, but it still shows you that they're in a different world. Like, they're still in the warmth and the fuzziness of a family, and hope and all that, whereas you've got Max and Furiosa who are just fucking ruined. You know, they live in a different world, they're the grown-ups, and that's just a very beautiful and simple way of doing that. I also read that the Blu-ray edition of Mad Max is going to have, Mad Max Fury Road, I guess I should say, is going to have a black and white version of it. And that just makes total sense to me. I guess people are like, what? But what about those amazing colours? But when you look at it, everything is almost already kind of the same colour, especially during the night scenes. There are actually some scenes which I'm guessing it's like almost dawn. They are like, the saturation is so low that it's always this, like, there's only this little layer of blue on top of it that you could easily just take away, and it would all be black and white, and it'd still be perfect. So I'm just really looking forward to watching that. I don't even own a Blu-ray, but I'm going to figure out in some way, because I really want to see it in black and white. It's really cool. Another thing that's amazing is the music, which I didn't really think about the first time. The second time, I really, really thought about it, and it's funny because it's got like a theme, of course, through the entire film, especially the dun 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 dun, like these really mechanical, deep and dangerous. But then there's also like really hopeful songs, like when Furiosa and her gang get chased by the spiky cars. Who are Russian? Is that Russian they're talking? I just heard someone say Splatsiva and I was like, Russian! What are Russians doing in Australia? Are there a lot of Russians in Australia? Does it make sense that they would have their own gang? I don't know. When there were the spiky cars, and the music's like really uplifting and happy, full of hope, and I was like, why would you do that? I was like, I have no idea why you would do that, but it sounds amazing. Also, when they're in the storm, holy mother of God, that is beautiful. You should really listen to that score. Go on, it's on Spotify. Seriously, go listen to it. One of the things that everybody has been freaking out about is, of course, the guitar player. The flame-throwing guitar-bass combination with a guy in those bungy suit hanging there in his red onesie playing. That was the highlight of the film for me. No, it wasn't. But seriously, it's amazing. And I was like, what the fuck? That was my first thought. And then I just laughed. And then I thought about it a bit and I realised it actually makes sense. And it's a really cool thing to have done, both in a storytelling sense and in a visual sense. It gives a musical theme and a special sound to Morton Joe's army. You've got all those doom 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 doom, the drummers. That's like when the war boys hear the drums, they go, oh, something's up. It makes a lot of sense because history is full with armies having music, having drums with them to keep up the rhythm, to keep up the hope, and to have those drums and then an electrical guitar in this future, it actually makes quite a lot of sense. The camera often pans, because it's such a vast, large area. We fly over the Wareg and then over to the army, and then when we get closer we hear the guitar, and it's a sign. It means that they're onto them, and we know where we are just by hearing it, which gives a feeling, which is just amazing. And then they've just added that into the whole story. It's really cool. It's a way of telling stuff with sound. And it's really, I mean, it sounds weird, but it's actually quite subtle because we just see it as the visual, really crazy thing. But when you actually listen to it, it's there through the entire film. And I think that's one of the keys to the story, that it's consistent. All the weird, crazy shit is there from beginning to end. It's just the way it is. We don't question why the world is like that, because we just get it. It's like you're thrown into this and we just like, okay. For some reason we just go with it, but I think the reason we go with it is because Max just kind of goes with it, you know? Thrown in with Max, we quickly hear his story and then we just follow him on this crazy ride. And Max is the least judgmental character I've ever seen, I think. His main purpose is to survive, and he does. He's like, oh, I just gotta have to do what I gotta do to survive and to keep these people alive, because he also has that baggage of him not being able to save his family. So I think he has that, I really need to save these people, which is quite interesting. One of the problems I had with this film, the first time I saw it, I only had the problem for the first 2/3, because basically when I got to that point I was like, where can they go from now? This is the spoilery part, by the way. They get past the crazy place with the crows, and in the morning, and they come up to this naked lady standing there. And anyway, and they get to the many mothers, and that point, just before that, I was like, where are they going to go from here? There's nothing they can do now. Like, if they just keep going, this is going to be a very boring film. Having the green place not existing anymore makes it so much better, because Furiosa is totally and completely knocked down. And it made me really sad, and I was like, oh fuck no! And you see her standing there in the sand, swiveling, and all these people that she's let down, and this family that she's never going to see, or this home that she's never going to get to. It's really sad. Really sad. It made the film so much better. Also, I totally want to be a mini mother. I mean, I guess, would you call yourself a mini mother? Would you call yourself a mother? How do they get kids? I mean, if they're only... if they're only women, they can't really get pregnant, can they? Is that what the bait is for? Do they rape men just to get kids? But what if they get boys? What do they kick the boys out? That doesn't seem fair. I don't think they've thought this through. Huh. Anyway, I really want to be one of them. I really want to fight. The fight scenes are also one of those really cool things in this, because I remember watching Avengers Age of Ultron, and I thought it was really boring. The fight scenes were long and boring, and everybody does the same thing over and over again. I think what annoyed me the most about Avengers were that it was like, oh, here's a fight scene. Oh, here's another fight scene. Oh, dear Lord, another fight scene. Which is why I was a bit worried about this one, because this is basically just one long fight. It's one long chase scene, and it's just got obstacles, and the obstacles are usually fights. But they're all dealt with in such different ways that it doesn't get boring. It all escalates into this final battle. And it's really funny because I've been reading this, don't know if you can tell, it's John Truby's The Anatomy of Story, which is an amazing book about how to write a story. And he talks about the final battle should be taking place in the most physically narrow place. And since this is a desert, there's not that much of narrow, which is why it's so cool that the final battle is actually in the canyon. It's actually in the one place in this film where you can only fit one car. You know, this is like, that's it. And it's really clever, and it makes so much sense, and it just makes everything so much worse and better. The worse it is for the character, the better it is for the film. I don't know. I might be a bit of a sadist. Great book. Really, you should definitely read it. But yeah, that final battle and people dying, things being ripped off, it's great. It's grim and it's dark and it looks amazing with this really colourful background and the music, and everything is just one big extravaganza of madness and beauty and death. And my favourite battle in this is actually the one fight that we don't see. Max just grabs some shit and says, you need to drive the car up half a click. And Furiosa goes, what if you're not home once the engines are cool? And he's like, well, then you keep going. And then he comes back. There's this big explosion. They see him coming. He's got blood everywhere. He's carrying a shitload of guns. And he just washes his face in mother's milk. He's like, what's this? And they're like, are you hurt? He's like, what? That's amazing. Just wash it. Anyway, I've also been thinking about, like, what do they eat? So their crops. Do they have a cantina? Do they eat meat? I'm guessing they eat people. Do they get rations? Because all those people down on the ground rip Immortan Joe to pieces, and I'm guessing they're going to eat him. Just guessing. Anyway, this film has made me very happy. I've watched it, like I said, 3 times. I'm probably going to watch it some more. Once the Blu-ray is out, or the DVD or whatever, I'm going to be watching it so many times. Did you like it? Have you seen it? If not, you've been spoiled to death. So go watch it. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought about my thoughts. If you think they're shit, then you don't have to, but you know, you're welcome. My name is, like I said, Louise. You can find me here, or you can find me on my website, konstantia.com. I know that's very hard to spell and very weird, but that's actually my middle name, so thank you, Mum and Dad. This has been a blast. What do you want me to talk about next time? Do you have any ideas? Do you know how to pronounce Charlize Theron's name? Please let me know. I will also be interested in learning how to say Matthew McConaughey and Shia LaBeouf. So if you are any of those people, or if you know how to say their names, please let me know. Yeah, I'm very happy you watched this. I really don't know what I wanted to say about all this, other than